Hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you again to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital here in the United States, and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I'm so glad you're here with us. We have another fantastic show, in part because I'm joined by two very special friends, Sheila Applegate and Candice Harper. Good morning, ladies.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Oh man, now I haven't talked to you guys since last Friday. So how was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. I I went to the my niece was high school play, and that
Mhm.
was fun. We saw Mamma Mia.
Oh, mamma
Um,
mia, mamma mia.
yeah. And then I had friends over for dinner, and it's a friend who's been going through serious health problems, but she was healthy and back, and that just really brought joy to me.
Aw, that's beautiful. What about you, Candy? What did you do?
That's awesome. So, I recently moved in with my partner and we're
Mm-hmm.
doing all sorts of home improvements and we just made huge strides,
Ooh.
right? Which is like my thing, like my favorite thing. We bought carpets, well, area rugs,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
he did the pot hanging thing, which is very exciting. So that was our weekend, was home improvements and do it yourself and all that kind of stuff.
That's
Wow.
fun.
Well, Saturday we went to a Wizards game. We went to the basketball game.
Ooh.
Yeah, a friend
Nice.
of ours had great seats, and we had a blast. And we didn't win, of course, but it was still fun. It was still a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun, and so great way to relax and like spend a weekend day.
Yeah.
um, Another great way that to spend a weekend day is right here with us. We've
Yeah.
got a very special guest that I'm going to introduce in just a second. But before we begin, I want to remind everybody who's listening that, listen, this is an interactive conversation. I say this every time because I really mean it. Because this is about us having a conversation that empowers all of us. And so we want you to ask questions, comment, give us your thoughts during this broadcast. You can just post right into the live feed, either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll do a shout out to you here. Also, let us know where you're listening from. If you're overseas or here in the United States, just let us know. Um, Ladies, have you ever questioned whether or not you're truly joyful in your life?
Oh my gosh, so many times.
I almost do it daily now.
Right?
Um, well, we have the perfect person to help us all answer this question. I'm so happy to welcome Halina Goldstein to the show. She's a spiritual author living in Denmark and working globally. She's also the founder of Awakening to Joyful Living and the Joy Keepers Network, which is awesome, by the way. Helena fell in love with words when she was 5 years old, and the relationship changed radically to Denmark. Fortunately, where her native Polish withered, seeds of English found fertile ground. At the same time, Helena became a spiritual explorer. As a spiritual mentor, Helena worked with therapists, coaches, teachers, and creators who have dropped out of a successful career to follow their dream. Helena helped them find out what is that excuse me, what is it that is really their life's work, and then bring it into the world with joy, certainty, and a sense of abundance and freedom. Wow. Now that she is retired, Helena's sole purpose is to bring the wisdom and joy that she has found to a broader audience through poetry, stories, and sometimes workbooks. And so, with that, it is my pleasure to welcome Halina Goldstein to This Morning. Hey, Halina.
Hello,
Right.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love being here already.
Oh man, this is wonderful. Sheila has been bragging about you for so long, especially the Joy Keepers Network, which we're going to be talking about in just a second, because I think that it's a wonderful global organization to help people stay in joy. I guess my first question to you is, you discovered what I think is your passion and purpose at such an early age. I mean, you fell in love with words at the age of 5. I mean, wow. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience? I mean, because I really want people to understand that that there's this thing living inside of them and they can tap into it. And sometimes children's stories are the lead the way. And so I want to hear your child story.
Sure. Yeah, I actually heard that what we are passionate about around 5 or 6 years is what is our true passion. And mine
Mm,
was reading and writing. I had an older brother who, when I saw him learning to write, I just had to do the same, and I
wow.
was completely I went crazy. But the really interesting thing is that for many years after that, I forgot it, and I think I share that fate with most of us. Is that
Mm,
that we find something, or it calls us while we're still open, and then there's, life's adventure begins, and it takes us far and around, and it may take many years before we get back to the thing that really waited for us in our hearts. And that's fine, because then we come back with a new experience. But it's very common that we forget first.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Candice, what do you think? What do you think about this joyful thing? And you have a question for Helena.
Yeah. Well, no, as Helena was talking, I was thinking about exactly what she was saying. Like when Helena, you mentioned you find your thing at 5 or 6. And I can remember at 5 or 6 being very self-expressed. And
Mhm.
right, and very much an artist, and just, that sort of feeling of not worrying about being judged and all of those things, and then growing into the world.
Mm.
And sort of limiting that throughout my adulthood, and now only just rediscovering it here 45 years later, what that feeling actually is. And I guess that would be my question. For you, what was your journey of rediscovering that as an adult, of being able to just be in your full expression?
Oh, I don't even know if I have a simple answer for that, because
Mhm.
it came gradually, and in a way, the journey back started when I was young, when I was 18, because I started meditating there. But there were stages and phases and iterations of the journey.
Mm.
So on one hand, I could say, I had clarity there, and then I had clarity there, and then I had more clarity there. so
Yeah.
so I was being taken there step by step, and I think that is important too, also, that because I imagine with you, for example, that even if it's 45 years later that you fully step into your expression, I imagine there were points along the way that were important, and,
Yeah.
and where you connected with that, and these experiences had led you here, wouldn't you say? Or
No, yeah, definitely, like glimpses and just parts of my life where I was there in that expressive place. Yeah, definitely. But I also feel like a sense of self-consciousness that sort of happened as I grew older. And we
Mhm.
go through our different changes and things like that. And I don't know that I was ever able to truly release it in a way that I have maybe in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I wouldn't even say I've completely released it. Like I still feel on that journey of releasing those limitations that say, "Oh, don't say that," or "Don't do that," or if someone won't approve, or the
Mhm.
story we tell ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheila, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I love the conversation and where it's going with the journey to finding your passion, and also to having that joy that we have from a childhood and bringing it into adulthood. Helena, I know that you're very clear, and this is one thing we've resonated with, is a difference between happiness and joy. Can you
Mm.
talk about that? And then also, maybe, was there a journey to understanding that along that path we just talked about?
Yeah, sure. So the way I discern it, and not only me, between happiness and joy, is that happiness is this wonderful feeling we have when something happens that we like. But joy is something that we're actually born with. We have it with us. And it has all kinds of expressions and feelings, but it's always with us. And most people lose that connection. And for most of us, it takes some experience and some work to get back to it. But it's so important to get back to it because joy is not independent of anything special happening around us. So we can connect to joy, and we can be supported by joy, no matter our circumstances, and that's the journey. And just to make it very short, the way I discovered it was that there was we all have those crises, most of us, where we really hit rock bottom, and I did too. And at the very bottom, when it looked like there was absolutely no hope and no meaning in my life, in one special moment, like moment in time precisely, all of a sudden everything in me exploded with joy for absolutely no reason. I was nothing happened in my circumstances. I didn't think anything. I was literally lying on the floor and very, very unhappy, and all of a sudden joy exploded within me. It was an amazing experience, and it taught me it does not depend on our circumstances, and we can find that joy and then create a stronger relationship with it.
I love that.
Wow. Listen, we're going to take a quick break so that we have a lot of time with you, Helena, because I'm curious around, you've helped people when they've dropped out of these successful careers, right? What the world dictates as a successful career, and help them move into what is really their life's work. And I'd love to find out if you have a story. I mean, you don't have to use anybody's names, of course, around that process, because I think maybe people would get something out of that, because I think a lot of times you want to question whether or not you're really doing your life's work. And maybe there's some ideas that you kind of share with people around that. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Halina Goldstein and how to live your joy. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoy the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity with our very special guest, Halina Goldstein. And we are talking about how to live your joy. And so, Helena, I had a question for you around people making their transition, right?
Yes.
Where where they're in a successful career, or what society dictates as a successful career, and maybe they're struggling, because I think that there's probably always that's part of it. Can you talk about that part of, like how you've helped people?
Sure. So there's one client I have in mind, but then it's quite typical, because people would typically come to me after they made the decision to make the shift from a career to what they really felt was calling them. And what they often experience was that at the beginning there's this high, I'm free now, I can do whatever I want to do. But the next thing that happens is that some other things enter the stage, such as fear, insecurity, loneliness. It can feel like the life that you have created for yourself and thought was the right life is falling apart, or has fallen apart, and you have nothing new yet. Wow. And you don't know if it was the right thing, because the only thing you know is what's in your heart, but maybe you don't have so much experience yet with trusting that thing in your heart. So the work that is really important at that time is to strengthen that connection with the heart and with the intuition and with calling, but also at the same time align the specific work that needs to be done with the new business or the new project or the new venture, and align with it. Because what then happens is that some experiences start happening that show that this is actually a foundation you can build on, that the calling is something you can trust, that even if it's difficult, you are being helped, and the joy follows.
Wow. I love, I'm just, yeah. I guess that's what it's all about. It's about trusting what the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, is telling you in the moment, and just move forward with courage and bravery with intent.
Yeah, and that's not always easy, right?
No, not at all. Candy, do you have a question?
Yeah, well, I mean, just in thinking, the way that you articulated it, Helena, I feel like that is exactly it. I mean, for my transition from a career in television to a career as a coach, definitely I went through that exact what you described, the phases of it, where I was so excited, like, yes, now I can do what I want, and then like like, oh no. Right? And what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that it's that willingness to take the little small steps. And so for someone, and I'm someone who always wants to be 3 or 4 steps ahead and skip the little steps. And for someone who has that sort of energy, what would your advice be?
It's the same advice that we see everywhere, and that is to come back to the present moment. But it's not easy for someone who is always 3 or 4 steps ahead, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the challenge.
But that's really the best advice I know. Perhaps even at least notice yourself being 3 or 4 steps ahead. That's also a way to be present, to see, oh, I'm trying to figure things out. Back to now. It's a recurring practice. Back to now, back to joy, back to whatever is important for you. It's a recurring practice.
Yeah.
Helena, as you're talking, I'm again, I think all 3 of us, all 4 of us have this connection where we've kind of gone through this process. Days, years, months, whatever it was ago, and then we learn to stay in it, right? Because I think that this is a process of lifelong growth, and that you're by staying in the moment, you're always growing. Do you think when like some of your clients first started out, and that they knew what they were doing wasn't their life's work, that they immediately wanted to jump, right? They jump into whatever it was.
Yeah.
But maybe, I know for me, I had to just be in that space for a minute and really get clear on what that feeling was for me inside of my own body, right? Because you can have a feeling, but if you're not embodying it, it's a little different. Do you find that to be true as well?
That is so essential, the embodying part, and that is part of the big challenge that in our culture this is not the place where we learn to stay very long. So
Right.
so that is definitely important part of the work. But also, I really salute you for you. You knew you had to stay in that space. What I've seen with many people is that there is like a pendulum, like there is this. No, I want to be, 1 year ahead and do everything. But at the same time, there's actually a fear of that. Our calling comes with our greatest fear. So
Right.
so there is, so just like there is the pull towards the call, there's also the pull towards the old and safe space that we know. So people go back and forth, or we all do, back and forth and keep adjusting and keep getting used to that new space, keep getting to know who they really are and what is true for them. It's back and forth.
I love that you say that, Halina. And as we're talking, I keep thinking about, I'm one of those few people who didn't take that journey. I stumbled upon my passion right out of high school and through college and moved out into this journey, seamlessly in that way. But the part that's always there is that going against what society expects, especially that fear that can come up around finances when you take that leap, because you're not going the way that society tells you is the safe way to do it. And I know, Halina, you have a really good insight around finances and joy. And I'm wondering if you can share some of that with us.
Sure. And this is so important because this is one of the big fears, obviously, for when people step into their calling, is like, what about how am I going to survive? And so I've had a long and interesting journey about money and safety and all that. But the essence of it is really that joy, again, is something that or something, almost someone, is an energy that we can tune into and connect with and bring into anything. And in our culture, there's almost a consensus to not bring it into the area of money unless we win in lottery, and even there we're not sure. But really we can bring joy into every aspect of our relationship with money and our interaction with money, and it makes a huge difference because most people have a very unconscious relationship with money because, again, that's part of our culture, and a very negative relationship with money because it's part of our culture. Even when we talk positively about money, there is a unconscious fear. But when we bring joy into every interaction with money, that dissolves the fear, that dissolves the insecurity, that dissolves the constant what next, and where would the money come from, or this doesn't look good. Imagine, and we interact with money all day long. We either specifically use money or receive money, but also think about money and hear about money and see prices, and money is there all the time with us. Imagine that if we can bring joy into every time we relate to money, then we will feel joy all day long, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great.
Wow. Listen, I'm loving this conversation. But we have got to take a quick break. It's going to be a real quick break, everybody. We'll be back with more. See, I'm already joyful. I'm laughing and I'm having a good time already. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of All Things Joy with Halina Goldstein. We'll be right back, everybody.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves. to battle fear and ignorance and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
Told you, we're right back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by our beautiful co-hosts, Candice, Harper, and Sheila Applegate, and our very special guest, Halina Goldstein, spiritual author and poet. And we're talking about all things joy, specifically how to live your joy every day. Halina, I had a question for you regarding Soulivity is all about, passion and purpose and living. And, I describe the flow of it is that you discover your passion, that becomes your purpose through service, and then you create this high quality life. What's kind of like your flow in terms of like what you have told yourself, or what you've lived for yourself, as well as how you counsel other people around that? Because I think the purpose part, people really knowing why they're here, or the what of what they're here to do, is very important.
It is very important, and it's a strange journey in a way.
Right.
It has been for me because it is, I call it a winding road to joy and purpose, and it is the first thing that comes to mind right now actually is that times are changing, and so when I started on the journey, not many people were talking about joy or purpose for that matter. And then more and more people are doing this. And now I see some people that feel very, they are very worried about not having found their purpose or not having found their joy. Mm-hmm. So I want to bring it a little bit into perspective and say, and on one hand, it is so important to be listening, really to be listening to who we are. Who am I? Because this is where our joy and our purpose live as well. The strange thing that happens is that there is a, since you mentioned flow, there is a part of the journey where it's important to keep saying yes, to step deeper and deeper and deeper into that yes, and to completely surrender to it. And then a funny thing happens, because when we have truly said yes, it's like things turn around, and now life says to us, be fully present where you are, because then everything becomes living your purpose. Then things, because what I'm trying to say is that then you have less and less to-do lists, but you more and more do what you're meant to do. Right. Does that make sense at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, I'm literally getting emotional by you saying that, because I think people forget to say yes. They forget that it's okay to just be, that you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are this being that has purpose. You're here. That's why you're here. And just to say yes to that is a beautiful sentiment. And so with that, as I collect myself, Sheila, I'll hand it over to you.
I love that. So let's talk. You talked about finances and joy. You've got several books out, and I know you infuse them all with joy. Can you talk about your writing journey and some of the books that are available to people?
Sure. So my writing journey started when I was very young with writing poems. I was a very, very unhappy teenager, so there was a way to express it. And then there were many years, actually decades, where I wrote maybe articles, about things I was learning about, from experiences from the spiritual journey, the personal growth journey, and at some point, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I thought I was going to write the ultimate book about what I call awakening to joyful living. And that book absolutely didn't happen. Speaking of going like with the flow of it, because it just didn't feel right. But there were small poems in that book, and and I ended up deleting everything except of the poems, and that book then came out and is now called Love Songs. And what I learned is that what I learned is that we all have our journeys and we all have our expressions, and mine is not to. I have some workbooks and I will be sharing them, but I really prefer today to share the experience of joy through poetry, through short stories, and through longer stories. It's a way of that is not teaching, that is not lecturing, that is very direct and speaks directly to people's hearts. So I'm working on some stories now that I hope to publish perhaps at the end of the year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I love that.
Candy?
And the
Okay.
poem book is amazing. Love Songs is amazing.
What do you
And there
think?
is, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Helena.
There is this also this workbook that's called Joyful Economy, though, which is based on a video course I created, and it's really a book of practices. There's a little bit of philosophy in the beginning of it, but then it's really a book of practices that I hope help people bring joy to their relationship with money every day.
I'm so glad you brought
Great.
that back around, Helena, because I was just thinking, oh, I wish we could go back to the joyful money conversation.
I kind of like that myself. I'm
Right?
like squirming in my seat a little bit.
And I got to experience your poetry book, Love Songs, a little bit this morning, which is absolutely just gorgeous and beautiful. But back to the money. So your book, Joyful Economy, which I haven't had a chance to fully read yet. I'm very much looking forward to reading it, because one thing that I've experienced is that I was abundant and money was not a challenge like in front of me when I was in my previous career. And in my previous career, I enjoyed what I did, but I never felt like I was truly doing anything, pivotal or life-changing for anyone. And now that I've transitioned in a new career, I feel purposeful and I do find joy in what I do. But I find that finding joy around money and finances is much more of a challenge than it was before. And so I understand what you're saying about the presence, but what are some things in Joyful Economy can I look forward to as far as like being able to get reconnected to just not being so conscious of it, money moving in and out, and not so, I guess worried is not quite the right word, but just, well, maybe it is the right word and I'm just avoiding it.
Even if it's not for you, it's for most people actually, right? So one of the main practices in Joyful Economy is also to address whatever emotions come up with money, and most people do not address them. So what most people experience is we see money flowing in, and we feel good, or maybe we feel bad, or we see money going out, we feel good, or we feel bad. There's a lot of emotional energy happening there. So it's really important and helpful to notice, again, just be aware. Oh, when I look at my bank statement, I feel fear. And it doesn't matter if there's a reason for that fear or not. The important part is there is fear. I have this idea that there's a danger there. So it's important to work with those emotions. And so that's one practice. And the other practice is to bring joy in, which means bring unconditional joy in. If you see money, if you see that there's almost no money in your bank account, bring joy in. If you see there's a lot of money coming in, bring joy in. When you give money, bring joy in. When you receive money, bring joy in. What happens is, first of all, we start feeling better.
Right. Right.
and we feel more and more free. But the other thing that also happens, and now I should need to be very, very careful, but it is true that the more we open to our true joyful state, the easier money flow also the easier money flows in our lives too. And it's not a trick, it's not a something that happens, a smart trick, and then it just, it's not a get rich thing. What's this expression?
Get rich quick.
Get
Yes,
rich.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
get
not
Right.
what it is. But it is true that the more we align with our soul and with our nature and with our joy, then money, if we can free all the limitations and problematic energy that we have around money, then it naturally supports us adequately, which is individual what that means. For some people that's a lot of money, for some people that's a little money, but it usually means more than enough for your adventure. But again, the essence of it is not for it to happen. The essence of it is to find your freedom in your relationship with money, find your joy in your relationship with money. And in many ways, it works in the same way as our relationship with other people, right? We have to bring love and joy in first. We have to work out the issues, and then it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Helena, as you're talking, I can't help but my dad passed away last year, and he's still schooling me. Because I could literally hear him. One of the things that he used to tell all of my family was, when you're going through difficulty in your life, that is the time to expand your capacity to give and receive love.
Oh, yes.
And so, and I'm getting teary about it, but yeah, I hear the same message from you, which is, listen, don't, if and Candice, you talk about this all the time in our show, what you focus on expands, right? And so if you're looking at money, if you're looking at it from a point of lack, then that's all that you're going to experience. When that moment, that feeling's in there to let you know exactly, Helena, what you're saying, and that is, no, your time to expand, time to expand, time to expand. Feel love, feel joy, feel that, and fill your cup from that point. And so thank you so much for saying that. I definitely want to talk a little bit about some tips and other things, but before we get there, something I know that's favorite to Sheila is the Joy Keepers. I wanted to create space for you to talk about this wonderful global, melting pot of, hot, bubbly joy that you have created. Talk a little bit about this. Halina?
Oh, I thought you asked Sheila, actually.
No. Halina, I wanted you to talk about it. I know Sheila can talk about it too.
I didn't start
I
the Joy
was
Keepers
falling
Network.
asleep. No, I was just so curious what she would answer. And there's a reason why I say that, because I am so blessed to have Sheila by my side, actually, in the creation of Joy Keepers, and it means the world to me. But the Joy Keepers Network came from speaking of calling, from a calling a few years ago, where I was, out of the blue, I was called to create a network around Joy Keepers, and at that time there weren't many people speaking about joy, so it was really important to bring that awareness of joy as opposed to happiness, and to start gathering some people around it. And long story short, where it led us to is to create the creation of a community which we have on Facebook now, that's called the Joy Keepers Group. And we have a leadership team, which is Sheila and me. and I couldn't, and I'm infinitely grateful for that. And we meet live once a month for a meditation that Sheila is leading, which is an amazing experience. I cannot recommend it warmly enough. It's just wonderful when she leads these joy meditations, which are channeled, so it's a different one every time. And afterward, we're just a small group of people, and then we meet and we talk about our experiences, and it's pretty mind blowing, because because there's always some sort of parallel or theme or pattern that we share, and this meditation and this energy of it stays with us for some days for sure. So pretty much this is a place where we want to support each other and others in coming back to the joy energy regardless of our circumstances.
And we've got some information that we put into our chat about how you can learn more about the Joy Keepers. And you guys are going to get blown away by what I'm about to say. So the next Joy Keepers event is on March 22nd. Guess whose birthday that is? That's my father's birthday.
Oh, wow. I'm having chills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can literally hear him laughing on the other side of the bell. Like, ta-da!
Well, I guess you'll be there then.
I will definitely be there. 11 a.m. sharp. And this is Eastern, right? 11 a.m. Eastern?
Eastern time, yeah. We have people from all different time zones, so we try to pick a middle zone so most people can tune in.
Sweet. And I love the fact that there's something to be said about when a group of people come together and hold in consciousness the highest level vibration of energy for themselves and for the world, that things actually change. Things can actually change from that. Like other people will start resonating with it, even though they may not be there. And so, before we go to break, I just want to say to both of you, thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing it, because it's important work. I think you guys are doing the same kind of things that, like Buddhist monks and those kind of people who actually hold those frequencies for the world and peace and that kind of thing. And you guys are doing the same thing. So I hope all of you will definitely go check it out on March 22nd and be part of Joy Keepers from that point going forward. I know I'm going to be there for sure. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Helena, I would love for you to share some tips on how we can, for those people who are beginning their journey into joy, or those of us who are already on our path, that, some of your words of wisdom. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity with our very special guest, Halina Goldstein. Before we go to that, I want to do a couple of quick shout outs. I did these earlier, but let's see. Renee Hager Smith is online and she says, I love this attitude about bringing joy into our feelings, attitude of money, finances, and abundance. Ooh, love that one.
Nice.
And then this next one is so cute. It's from Linda Hermans, who said, morning to you all. I think actually that was a Freudian slip, Linda. I think you really meant to say good money. I'm counting my money for my car payment as I listen, and I'm grateful I can pay for this vehicle. Love this. Well, we love you.
Awesome.
Oh man, fantastic. It's funny. I guess our audience is already into practicing probably tips that you give your clients, Halina.
Yeah, but let's just see, because I think we all can use some reminders. I know I can.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, me too.
So I wanted actually to start with the most like basic things, because the most important things is to strengthen the connection with joy, and because so most people are more used to happiness than joy, then we, when we in a good on a good day we say, oh, I know how that feels, but on a so-called bad day we don't. So here's a very simple practice or a way to learn how to connect with the unconditional joy, and it comes through gratitude, because these two feelings are very close to each other. These energies are very close to each other. Many of us today have some sort of gratitude practice. So we know that we can think of things or people that we're grateful for, and then we can feel the gratitude. On our way to joy, we want to take it a step further. And that means when we have this feeling of being grateful for something specific, try to forget the specific part and just stay with the feeling of gratitude. So that it becomes a gratitude for no reason, gratitude as such. And then joy comes in there. It's simply part of that mix. So in that simple practice, I have a small free book that explains it, but pretty much this is the essence of it. Start with gratitude, remove the reason for gratitude so it becomes unconditional, and let joy flow in. And again, with practice, with daily practice, we get more and more accustomed to that feeling, and at some point we know where to find it within ourselves. Just like when we know where to find love even on bad days, we still know where to find love within ourselves, right? In the same way, we can learn how to find this joy that is within us, and once we have it, then we can start bringing it to money or to work or to relationship or to our body. To use an example with the latter, for example, if there's physical pain in the body, we can bring joy in there, and it's quite an amazing experience when we do that. It's transformational, and it is transformational for anything we do. So again, step one, learn to connect with your joy, and then rather than looking for things that bring us joy, bring joy to the things. And then they will transform, and everything becomes joyful in a way.
Wow. Well, listen, Halina, thank you so much for being here. Would you come back? Would you come back and join us?
Of course I will. I love being here. You are such a beautiful bunch of people.
Oh.
I just love being here. Thank you.
See, Helena, you keep doing that, you're gonna have a regular spot. So listen, Helena is, her books are available at our Go shop. You can find all of those there. Also, please check out the latest Joy Keepers Cafe, which is coming up on March the 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can learn more information by going to joykeepers.org/cafe, which is also in our chat. So thank you again, Helena. Listen, just stick around. Candice, any final thoughts from you?
Oh, well, I mean, just I want to say thank you to Helena as well. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the thing about the body and health, because I think that's one of the other things besides money that can be a challenge to
Mhm.
be connected with our joy around. And I had a question about, natural physiological changes like aging and finding joy, and like you said, pain in the body and finding joy. And so I just wanted to highlight that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are in a moment of body changes or a challenge with their body, and how important everything that you said is to applying joy. So, my gratitude. Thank you for what you've shared this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Sheila, final thoughts from you.
Well, I just want to thank you, Helena, for being here and for holding joy for the world. And I know that you started the Joy Keepers Network when joy wasn't really spoken of. And just by holding that frequency, so much has shifted in our world, and so many people around the world are now experiencing that state. So thank you for all you do.
Mm.
Thank you.
Mine is so simple. This is a real conversation that empowers, because I
Mm.
think, Helena, what you're talking about is such a important. It's living. That's what living is, right? When you're practicing how to truly live, not survive, not, try to get by. It's literally saying, I'm going to live in this moment and I choose to experience joy in every moment of my life. And so if that's not empowering, I don't know what is. And so thank you again for being here. Candice, real quick, I know you've got some cool things that are happening in your world that you're offering to our folks. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there is my coaching, Love Life Skills for Leaders, which is my one-on-one intensive coaching program for women, professional women, women of color and culture who want to create a love life that loves us back. Soulivity 50 is the promo code, 50% off. And then also I'm still looking for submissions for my compilation book. So stories of BIPOC women and home and their relationship with home. So if you have a story to tell, if you are a BIPOC woman, or if you know one who has a dynamic or tumultuous relationship with the idea of home, submit to bit.ly/the home project 2023.
And we'll have that in the chat too, because I think that's such an important project, girl. I
Yeah.
mean, whoo. And Sheila, you've got a matrix of illumination
Yes,
coming
tomorrow
up,
night.
which is in the chat. Can tell a little bit about what you're going to be doing tomorrow?
So tomorrow night, we're going to tune into the vibration of the divine feminine in honor of Women's History Month. And through that, I will do a guided meditation for everyone who's present. It is something that is recorded. So if you can't make it live because of your time zone, still register. And that way your energy will be infused into the meditation, and then the channeling, which is messages that come from the divine feminine to help guide us in life today.
Fantastic. And listen, everyone, just from us, please follow us on social media. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and you can sign up you'll be alerted of like new giveaways and exclusive content. And we would love to hear from you. Just send us an email if you want. Listen, we're out of time, but listen, we love each and every one of you, and we want to thank you for joining us. Listen, on behalf of all of us here, we love having you here on This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for the live broadcast, or you can listen to us at 9 a.m. Pacific every Thursday and Friday on KMET 1490 AM for all of you out on the West Coast. Until next time, on behalf of all of us, keep on having real conversations that empower with passion and purpose and create a life full of high quality living and joy today. See you next time, everybody. Bye.
publication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.